Jay, how do you keep changing the passcodes for the door lock every time? Got it. So, Nevin, to be very clear, your question, the way that it is worded, here is how I have to answer it. I don't keep changing the passcode, but I understand what you're asking. All right. I know what you want to know. You're like, what does that process look like? So I will tell you what that process looked like. And I'm going to tell it to you step by step. And then if you transcribe it, it can become one of your first SOPs so that when you're ready for your VA system, you can tell them this is what you want them to do. So here's how it works in our world right now. So our departure time, first of all, is 11 o'clock. Okay. Arrival time is 4. So at 11, the first thing that happens is that the existing code that the existing guest has received gets changed. Step number 1 is not that it's changed to a code for an arriving guest. It's just changed to anything other than that code that the guest was using so that their code becomes deactivated. Step number 1. Step number 2 is then for the arrivals, when the arrivals happen or when it's time for the arrivals to be checked in and to make off on the checklist, go through those list of arrivals and make sure that every one of the codes matches. In our case, we like to use the last 4 digits of the arriving person's phone number, specifically the phone number that they gave us or that they registered, I should say, with on their profile. Okay. And then somebody else goes behind that to make sure that all of the arriving guests and departing guests, all of the lock codes have been changed. So there's a check and balance if you hear what I'm saying specifically. So someone at 11 changes the departing guest code. Then somewhere between 11 and 4, and long as it's before 4, assuming no one has an early arrival, long as before 4, two things happen. One person changes the code. A different person verifies that the codes were actually changed. Okay? And that's how we do it. Now, because the systems that I've shared with you guys, and this is one of the reasons behind choosing the systems that we've chosen, is because they're online. They can be done on a web browser, therefore setting up a VA with their own administrative login, all that other stuff, completely doable, 100% easy. So, John, what's up? What is the practical reason for waiting until right before check-in to send the door code? I can understand not actually changing it, but it seems like an additional message/step. The practical reason is because the moment you send that code, John, people assume it is okay for them to leave. So it's not, while yes, practical, that's there. But what I'm also thinking about at that time is the safety and security of our staff. I never, ever want the cleaning staff surprised by the guest arriving early when it was something that we could control. By giving the guest, the moment you give the guest the code, they assume, they may not even tell you, oh, I'm coming. They assume it's okay for them to go. And then they go. And then they wonder why they can't get in. Like, hey, I'm here and I'm trying to code. Yeah, it's also 3 o'clock. I've even had people, and I wish I was making this up. I've had people arrive during the cleaning window. They arrive to the unit, okay? They go in, then they start blowing up the message center and calling us because they're like, it hasn't been cleaned yet. And I've had to go rounds with them like, yeah, we know. It's not 4 either. And we can't clean it until you leave because I'm not sending my cleaners in there with you. So you have to go. And then it becomes but I'm already here conversation, which is like, yeah, I understand. And you're not supposed to be. So, so to avoid all that, or even that happening without us having control, code goes then. We don't give it to them beforehand for that very purpose because they assume they can get. I've even had people walk up, hey, I'm here. How do I get to the pool? Well, like, your reservation starts at 4. Keys inside the unit. And after 4, you'll be able to get in. And I'm very diligent about that. So if someone says at 3:53, 3:58, hey, the code's not working. Yes, it will in 3 minutes. because I want people to understand from the beginning that it is exactly what, when we say arrive, that's when you arrive. When we say depart, that's when you depart. There's no give in those things. And yeah, I'm a little rigid on those, but we don't have to call the police. So I'm okay with it. You know, if you like information like this, go ahead and hit that like button, because that tells YouTube that more entrepreneurs see us. And definitely hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that the next time we publish more quality content like this, you can be a part. Thanks.